What's happening, fam? L.A.R movement still moving. Book is entitled Lessons from a Non-Custodial Father. It's at Amazon Kindle Create Space. The link will be in the description box below as always. Child abuse out of spite. We don't talk about this enough. I saw part of this is inspired by this morning I woke up and I saw some videos from the Advice Show Media with child abuse things in it. And I talked about this a long time ago in some ways, but I'm gonna focus on this one right now too. Um, there are plenty of ways when people talk about abuse. They say there's mental abuse, there's verbal abuse, there's physical abuse, there's sexual abuse. But we talk about the abuse a lot of times, but we don't necessarily talk about what where 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 the abuser comes from. We always say under no circumstances should a person do such and such and such. But I don't think that's a good idea because you want to know the circumstances. Not to feel sorry for the person, but to know, to make sure this doesn't happen again because you got to know the root cause. And some people abuse children out of spite. What I saw, which is a normal thing that you see that people just try to overlook, is a young mother mad because her child's father cheated on her, moved on and got with another woman, and she wants to abuse the kid. You know, whether it's verbally, because when guys talk about non-custodial parenting and women, y'all try to ignore the things that y'all do, so it really doesn't matter. I'm just gonna put it out there. You know, the your daddy, you ain't gonna be shit just like your daddy. That's verbal and mental abuse, isn't it? So you're doing it out of spite because you dislike your ex. You're a child abuser out of spite at this particular point. And to keep driving home this fact and to make and to screw your child's head up says that where your hatred comes from. Because if you have a child and you're taking out your frustrations with your ex on your child, it has nothing to do with the ex. It has something to do with you and the type of person you actually are. Because and some people think this is normal because this is how they actually were raised. You know, but the problem with that is it's an excuse. Because if you were the kid in that situation, you knew it was wrong when you was a kid. So if you're doing it as an adult, you not only you double know it's wrong because you knew it was wrong when it was done to you, and now you know it's dead wrong when you're doing it, but you don't care because you want to hurt somebody and you want to abuse this child out of spite. You know, same thing goes when you have a child who may be gifted and you're abusing that child because you see potential in them that you don't see in yourself, and y'all have some of the same DNA. So how are they this good or this gifted and you're not? So you become jealous, and now you're abusing your child out of spite, hoping to destroy their confidence and to make them on your level or beneath your level, so you can feel good about yourself. We don't talk about that. There's a lot of broken children and adults and strong-minded children and adults who came from that type of situation. Some parents who have children with handicaps, they abuse their children out of spite because, and they quote unquote, their child isn't normal, so their evil comes out, and this child probably can't communicate with everybody, so it kind of actually makes them worse because they can't communicate that they're getting tortured or beat because of their handicap, depending on the handicap we're talking about, or they're getting abused because, whether it's a mental handicap or a physical handicap, they don't, they're still trying to operate how to process themselves between everybody else who's considered normal. And you add that along to the process, you really get a mix. And a lot of the times we don't talk about the idea that, you know, this is where the separation goes between children to teenagers to adults, because from teenagers to adults, these children start processing the idea that they can defend themselves. Sometimes kids, quote unquote, teenage years of smelling themselves is really their first time where they can get big enough to feel like they can defend themselves from you because you've been abusive. And nobody talks about that, because sometimes children get abused um, when they're young, and they cling to their, usually I'm saying mothers because usually most kids are with their mothers at a time for the most part. So they cling to this. Mom's bigger than me, but and I love my mom, but my mom is doing some things that don't feel right to me, and it hurts me. So it's hard to process it because they're innocent children. They love, and they think they're getting loved in return. And as they get older and they process, they get bigger. They realize they're getting used, they're getting abused, and now they're not liking it. Now they want to fight back. And now this is when a lot of these mothers have issues with these children when they become teenagers, because they get this kid because this kid's crazy. No, what you really are saying in some of these instances is that kid big enough to kick your ass now. And all that shit you was doing, now that they big enough to kick your ass, you can see how much time left you got. You can see your time winding down. Like when it was 12, we got into a fight. I handled it. 13, we got into another fight. I handled it, but oh, this motherfucker's coming. I don't know how long I'll be able to fight this one off. 14, hey, you even. 15 come, they gonna whip your ass. So you got to get them out this house. You got to go. And I didn't even touch into, that's part of the physical abuse. The other part is, sexual abuse, sexual molestation. A lot of times, people put their children around the wrong people by mistake. But there are plenty of instances that they put their children around the wrong people on purpose, because there are times where this person has a reputation. This person is known for doing things that's just not cool, but you want to play the game like they ain't gonna do it to me. Well, you're right, they're not gonna do it to you. They're gonna do it to your kid because you drop your kid off over there, so you already knew what could happen. Sometimes when people talk about people and their new significant other doing stuff to their children, there are instances where the parent doesn't know. And I'm going to tell you, the difference between those instances is this. Whoever the person is that is abusing that child knows if that parent finds out, they're dead. And that's when don't tell your mama, don't tell your daddy, no. If you do, I'll kill everybody. Kids don't understand that. And sometimes kids really forgive their parents because their parents genuinely didn't know, and they come to find that out as they grow, that their parents didn't know, even though there's a thing like you should have protected me there, and that's very understandable. But it's there. But the ones that they're like, you knew this month was like this, you left me with them anyway. That's a whole different ball game, because they know that they put you in that position, and you know that they put you in that position because out of spite, out of some type of hatred. And why I say it's child abuse out of spite is because whatever the initial hatred is, whether it be you mad at the spout at your ex, or the other parent, or you're mad at your life, or you're mad at their gifts, or you're mad at what you feel is their handicaps, whatever it is, you hate them. You hate your own kid, but you're using other people a lot of times as the excuse to abuse your kid. Like you're a third party abuser, but you knew everything that was going down. That could be and that's why I say it the way I say it. Oh, I was mad, I was emotional because they cheated on me. It's not your fault you abuse your kid. It's their fault for leaving your ass, and you took it out on the kid. But you think that makes sense when it doesn't. You're an abuser. That whether that's mentally, whether that's verbally, whether that's physically, whether that's sexually. That other person did all of those things to the kid, and I had no idea. Here's the problem: the first time you get signs and and you don't get rid of that person, and you continue, and then it happens again, and it happens again. See this, and you hear most abused children say this. It wasn't a one-time thing. It wasn't a one-time event. You get what I'm saying? It wasn't. Some of y'all, and I'm gonna get into this physical part. Some of you people teach your children to be disrespectful, and for your benefit, so they can be disrespectful to the other parent. And then now your kid is like a pet. Now they disrespectful to everybody. Now you want to get with somebody to give them discipline because you can't put them with their parent per se because you feel like they're gonna abuse my child that I taught to disrespect their other parent, and I'm gonna act innocent like I didn't know what was going on. Because you don't want no child should talk to a parent like you're trying to fight them. You just gonna get your ass checked. Whatever discipline they get. But then you turn around and let some stranger to that other parent and that child come into your life and discipline that child, which is going to turn into abuse because at first they disrespectful to the stranger. Now they should have more respect for a stranger than they should have for their parent. And just like regular life, you don't go around talking to people that you don't know like you ain't got no sense because they probably going to hurt you. So now your child gets abused by your significant other who's not that child's parent because you taught them to be disrespectful to the parent, which in turn made them disrespectful to the public. And now all of a sudden they're getting abused and you didn't know. You orchestrated the whole thing. So you did know. There's a lot of falling out between adults and their parents now that they're adults because of the abuse that they encountered when they were children, and it comes to find out they were getting abused out of spite. And some of these kids, and sometimes I gotta say this before I go. Some of these kids don't realize they're getting abused because some of these kids started getting abused young and it became normal to them. And other kids, they abused them young in one way, and because they were so young, they forgot. So then they made the abuse a little bit more diabolical or slick. So they started catching on to it later, Like that's the one thing about social media. You're gonna have plenty of kids who their other parents gonna have all the proof in the world. These are the pictures. These are the videos. These are the conversations. See, you don't remember this, and them kids gonna look. So, but you see, this is what I was encountering when we was coming in contact. This is why I was mad about to kick your mama's ass. See that shit? Does that look cool to you? Would you do that to your kid? If that was your kid, what would you think? And because of stuff like that and the increase of stuff like that in the future that's going to increase stuff like that, man, society is going to change dramatically. When I tell you dramatically, seriously. I'm out. Peace.